I know everyone is sick of the Game of Thrones already, but I had to jump on the bandwagon. Plus, you don't get to listen to this kind of Slavic accent. And I think I have some pretty hot takes on the topic, so I guess that would be my reasoning to putting it out. Before we start to investigate this scene with science, I have to confess about my biases. The thing is, I don't think you can really fix Game of Thrones with one season, and if I had the power and money, I would have either completely rebooted the show or at least started from season 4. Because for me, almost everything after George Martin left the show have been completely lackluster at best. It had some good moments that I personally liked. For example, I thought horror explanation was a good idea, but could have been executed a little bit better. Visuals, where you can see them, especially some of the battle scenes, were really good. Tactics were awful everywhere though. Actors are great, regardless of the script, but almost everything else has been very mediocre. Going back in time, I think after season 5 I started to read the books and left it at the Feast of the Crows, somewhere around the Captain of the Guards chapters. I'm planning to revisit the books because I left them for personal reasons and my life kind of went on without them. The book material was sometimes very lackluster, and in the early seasons of adaptation they fixed a lot of insane things, such as decorated weapons and armor to the point when they would become useless, walls 700 feet tall, and other insane things. They didn't fix campfire melting of gold though, but chemistry is indeed a hard one. For me, the gem of the show, and the books for that matter, were the beauty of the plot, compelling characters and their dialogues, interesting and very creative ideas and plot twists. Martin is really good with this stuff, and even I, the king of the whiniest of cherry pickers, first of my name, agreed that he's one of the best one in that. But as I said, it's all started to go downhill from season 4. This season though crushes competition with some really hot new plot twists by Dumb and Dumber. Episode 3 was garbage, episode 5 was dumpster fire, and episode 6 was even worse than that. I've never thought that would be possible for me to be so upset about something I knew would be so trash anyway. The amount of radiating, inducing brain damage infantilism, and absence of creativity just made my ass explode into oblivion while my mind fell into a depressive stasis. The last 2 episodes insult evolution, God, if he's real of course, all of the religions combined, and everything in this world to the point when you have to consider that our civilization should be cancelled even harder than James Charles. I mean, seriously, if these people can have all of the contracts in the world while failing to meet the standards of intelligence of an insect, you would probably think that anyone can achieve anything, and you would be wrong, because our system is broken. But after my life-changing experience arriving in the last form of the brain damage, I thought, is there a way we can undo the damage that is done? Sadly, we can't. But we can at least try to have some characters' arcs come to an end without wanting to suicide, so I decided to do just that. Let's get to the table and start small. We will fix only the last episode, but before that, a small story time for you. How do we get here? Imagine that I am your cousin. That's unlucky, of course. That happens to be a good manga artist. I wish. That works on the exact same show, but in a manga format. And like all responsible manga artists that works on a weekly magazine, we have 1 week to finish the volume. But lately, I've secretly discovered that I have some kind of terminal stage of the disease at the latest form, and will die very soon. I've got to the shittiest of mood and I want to destroy everything around me, including world and my art too. Because nothing makes sense and the life is not fair. I'm stoic? I'm stoic. Holy shit. Speaking English as Slavic is fucking hard, dude. Stoicism. Stoics? As you can see, my brain is still malfunctioning after last episode. Sorry about that. I'm stoic, but this news kind of destroyed my rationality and I kind of wanted to keep everything secret from my family. But I'm still teasing that nothing is fine with me with my writing. My editor, kind of suspect that something is wrong, but he's not very authoritative and never will push me back or confront me over plot decision that I make. And after the last chapter got released, I suddenly die. You, my cousin, get the call from my editor, and he's saying that I was kind of in debt and we have to finish the show or everyone in the family will have the financial burden that I left with my death. I was kind of banking when I was alive on this thing, you know, I put all my eggs in one basket and this thing with my death and all of this stuff kind of destroyed this plan. So we have to fix this mess. My editor knows that you are helping me with some ideas for my writing, so he begs you to finish the last one. You just have to make a script and he will find an artist to do it. And that's why we can only fix this one, because we have to pretend it was my writing all along, so the last chapter will sell well. My story makes everyone look like shit. So I guess I'm kinda good at emulating D&D writing. Not like that's a good thing. I will cover everyone relevant who appeared in episode 6 and had their story come to an end here. The first one that is alive is the Mad Queen herself. She got herself another badge. This one though, I'm not sure she wants to flex. Danny went insane for nothing, and no one who was here would want her to become queen. Except this brain damage zombie for half of the last episode. She is a villain now, and everyone except Grey Worm have a good reason to despise her and want her dead. Maybe this whole nightmare was to make fun of white savior trope? I don't think so, cause John killed her. What was the point? You're never gonna do this stuff well enough, so the chosen one trope would be deconstructed, let alone white savior. What the fuck were they thinking? By the way, if you want chosen one trope being deconstructed, try reading Dune, for example. Surprisingly, too many people think that foreshadowing is a good writing, but it's not, and don't fucking at me. I guess John is kind of awakened from his daydreaming. Back to planet Earth, he clearly regrets everything he said to his sociopathic lover and aunt. Wait, what? What is that? What the fuck is going on? What? Okay, I have no good explanation for this madness. This dialogue, dude. What the fuck? It looks like it's straight out of the harem anime. You know? When she have to convince his brother, I think it's usually brother. I don't watch hardcore stuff, I only watch like isekai stuff, so I'm not sure. She have to convince his brother to have sex with her, but she can't say it straight. She have to dance around it, you know? She can't say sex and all of that. And he's too fucking stupid to understand what she's all about. Holy shit. Absolute classic. What happened to the Lord of the Rings for adults? How deep have we fallen? But I digress. I thought we can improve this scene even more if we rely on a faceless man canon in the TV show. Imagine Arya with a Jon face trying to find Dany to kill in the throne room, only to watch Jon kill her instead. Would love to see Jon and Arya with his face staring at each other, be like, what the fuck is going on? And they both should have been killed by Drogon here, especially if they can't find better quest for her than to go find Dark Continent. I mean, Jesus, can we stop with this anime shit? And yeah, the quest for him to go north was not better. Speaking of Arya, I think the best plot twist of her would be to sit on the Iron Throne, emulating Jon while Jon cosplays Martin and goes to vacation instead of doing something that he was supposed to do. Like writing a book. Or, in Jon's case, ruling the kingdom. I mean, she is already unlocked half of the achievements of Daenerys, and she's not as insane as her. She probably unlocked half of the achievements of Jesus too. So, if God was a woman and it's canon in Game of Thrones, that's basically Arya. The next one on the list is Tyrion, who is failed Dany for the last time, and she basically will execute him if she isn't dead before that. To be fair, Tyrion's brain is dead after season 4, so I don't care if he's alive or not. He's basically as stupid as a piece of wood and is kind of irrelevant. The new king, Bran. I guess they watched Vikings and thought, hey, this crippled dude is kind of cool and inspiring, and we can have it. Problem with this is Bran's story might be inspiring, but the Bran itself is not, unlike Ivar from the Vikings. My problem with Bran being king is not so much about the representation, also it's there too, but the fact that it sure as hell looks like a mockery at this point. Im's proposal for Bran sounds corny and pathetic. I get it, he is the real martyr of this story. He saw the spoilers to the season 8 short after he got his seer's powers, and that's the real reason he is devoid of emotion and is dead inside. I think he still kind of regrets the day he survived his fall because his powers in the context of the current events are real tragedy. I don't live in their world, and I've seen this once and would seriously consider suicide over rewatching this pathetic garbage over and over again. But he have to live it, have dreams about it forever. Poor little soul. We should probably organize some kind of mental health institution for people with this kind of problems and call it Bran Sanctuary. Hashtag save Bran from his nightmares. On him as a ruler, I think it's logical that current Tyrion proposed him as king. Think about it. He might have a good story, but he also doesn't have emotions, don't give a fuck about anything, and half of the time his body is here, but his conscience is nowhere to be found. The greatest fucking ruler of all, am I right? Jesus, it's further proof that the real cripple in the room is Imps with his flattened brain. Holy fuck. The whole thing about Three-Eyed Raven is confusing to me. He's not as robotic as you would think he would be, but that's just shitty writing, of course. And the last one. What about him saying, and I quote, "Why do you think I came all this way?" I know I joked about him watching the spoilers, but is it canon? He knows future? I have to concede, we don't ask critical questions at this point. Now let's get to the character that I thought could actually matter at this point. The new, improved version of Littlefinger. Not this one. This one. Sansa Stark. Since she is the new mastermind, only in words though. According to the latest season, we have to say fuck it, and that's basically what I will try to do. I'm not sure if this theory exists or I am the first one to document it, but if I were to go full Sansa mastermind mode, I would like her to send the anonymous letter to Cersei with the details of the plan in episode 3. That would be revealed in a flashback. She would outline the details about the where to ambush the dragons and who to capture for the most dramatic effect. Basically, Sansa should have set this all up to drive the Dany into the madness, to show the world who she really is, and overthrown her. Dany's descent into insanity still should have been shown better, but that would be too much to ask, so we don't get that. I like this theory because it's in her character now. She betrayed the oath to Jon, she have no morals, she don't want her queen to be Daenerys. Every box checked. She's also showed no signs of boundaries for her ambition, so it doesn't make sense to me that she is fine with ruling the North, like she is in the final of the series. Whatever. Sam's proposal for voting rights for the people had the right reaction, but the way he did this was awful. He should have had Imp's lines about how do we prevent this from happening, I don't want to be here ever again, and so on. And then maybe Imp could hit it home so they will start voting on the new king from now on. He became Archmaester, dull, but oh well. Good fucking stuff, guys, good shit. This one is fire though. Bronn becoming the master of a coin is satire, I guess. You know, he used to be mercenary, he know how to count, so he will be kinda good, right? I guess they lacked quotation marks smart people in the room, so opted for whatever. I think he should have got his castle a long time ago, and I'm not sure why he is alive. I guess he was alive for some comedy and fan service, but that shit got old really quick, and authors got no excuse for him to be alive, but they kinda forgot. I see. Another thing they kinda forgot that Dorne exists. And in the books, to my knowledge, it's Westeros' superpower and have a very good chance of winning thanks to Doran. In books he is alive, of course. And while we were at it, who the fuck is this guy? Why not a woman? I thought the whole thing about ruining the snakes, Ellaria and Dorne's plot in general was to smash patriarchy. I guess patriarchy always win. If you weren't paying attention, you raise your eyebrows here. You might have thought I'm a reactionary, but I am not. On the political correctness, I kinda stand with Zizek, so please don't confuse criticism of some PC culture elements with angry boy gamer stuff. But I'm slightly less spicy than Zizek, and I also think if you want your show to have some stance, you can do it very well without being glaring obvious, corny, cheesy, and unbelievable. In this show, it's almost exclusively been just talks with no action. They made this show look woke, when in reality it's just farce and makes almost everyone mad. It's too feminist for angry boys, while simultaneously being not feminist enough for some peak white feminism. So that's why I think they pissed everyone. About half of the characters being Mary and Martin's use, I think it's just bad fucking writing, and at first it didn't have anything to do with agendas. They gave plot armor to everyone they seem valuable regardless, but you're right, in later seasons it made much more effort to push women first, but execution kind of sucked. Which is why my Sansa plan is way more feminist, because it shows that she is indeed a mastermind. If you make someone powerful, explain. At this point we all know that D&D can't really write, so massive nerves to everyone who was smart was their way to show how women have grown, but in the end it was just an awful simulation instead of something of significance. Which is why this show is very polarizing, as is. Also, don't do this fucking pathetic, unbelievable garbage with dialogues like this one. Look at him, he got castrated on the spot, Jesus. I kinda forgot that I'm not watching a sitcom parody of Game of Thrones, but if the laugh track was here, I sure would. They laughed Sam out of the building with his democracy shit, but who is Sansa exactly for them? This is a veteran of 2 fucking wars! Jesus, why do I have to explain this to you? It's very different time. You had to show you're above everyone else if you're a woman, to be even considered worthy at this time. It's very unfortunate and not fair, but these were the dark times. Not like we are much better now, so imagine how it was back then. I also have no big problems with Arya being Azor Ahai. We got slightly cheated on wording prophecy, but oh well, tell Cersei and Jon about being cheated out of their prophecies completely. Arya being Azor Ahai is the best choice considering circumstances, and thank God it was not Jon. But that being said, the way she killed Night King with almost no build-up for that was a major problem. She could have had better training arc, but I suppose it would kinda spoil us that she might be the one. They could have explained how she got here in the flashbacks after her execution of Night King, but oh well, she is a shallow copy of herself from books, so it's sad anyway. Grave Worm in the last episode was disappointing. They've decided to cut his spine too. He should have pushed back in this scene way more. I guess he went to free other slaves, and he is a comrade of course, fighting the class war, the most important war. Onion Knight is kind of here, but who cares? Melisandre is dead, why is he not? Brienne arc was fine. I think she lacked critical relationships for her arc to be different, and since the only thing that was going on for her was newfound relations with Jaime, and they were flushed 30 minutes later alongside his entire redemption arc, so I guess she got it easier than him at least. I don't really want to talk about Jaime. He should have killed Cersei or died trying to find her, but it's episode 5 and we swore on my death that we won't touch it. You know what? Fuck that. The more I think about it, the more it doesn't make any sense. Night King should have won. I don't care if he have motivation or not. Many people complain Night King is a very disappointing villain, and I get it. But Night King could have been explained as a natural disaster, wrath of the earth, analogy to climate change, so in my mind he doesn't need to have motivation. Noble houses of Westeros should have fought each other in the decisive battle for the throne. Lights turn off, the dead show up and kill everyone. Credits roll, the fucking end. And the moral of the story would be, don't fuck with nature. It doesn't care about your destiny, your path, your titles, your honor, your money. It will fuck you up regardless of everything. I'm glad you get this far. This investigation took way too long. I'm kind of on the crossroads of my life, so if this video does really well, I will consider doing more YouTube in the future, so please, if you enjoyed this video, consider sharing and liking it. I put all my efforts to make this one-man show worthy of your time, and I hope it was. If you want to ask me some questions, do so in comment section or on Twitter @InspectorGarbage. If you want me to dive into the fan theories that were ruined about Ned Stark surviving, Littlefinger being faceless man and others like that, say so in the comments. Have a nice day, and I hope the next show you like won't bomb like this one. See ya!